Concentrate. Take breaths. Take breaths.
This is your fault. You don't turn up on time. You don't do the orders. You come in sneaking a food.
After paying your dues acting, you've transitioned to directing. And your new film, Boiling Point, ties directly into some of your own life experiences working as a chef. How did you find yourself in the restaurant world to begin with?
My acting career was doing incredibly well, and I was, I got a bit complacent because I thought I've made it now.
Yep.
But that's not the case. That wasn't the case. So, I went into, my grandfather was a chef. My cousin is a chef. And I love food. Like it's always been a passion thing for me, because watching my granddad growing up and seeing him cook these amazing meals and was just like, I just was really subconsciously, I think I was really passionate about, good food. And so instead of most actors, they go and work as a waiter or working in the hospitality industry in some respect, as a bar man or woman or whatever. But I wanted to do something more creative, and food was a passion. So I started working in kitchens, and I worked my way up. Again, my personality, having that addictive personality, as soon as I got into the kitchens, and my acting career was sort of, not fizzling out, but it was sort of, just dwindling away. It was, I was becoming really passionate about food in the kitchens, and so I thought, right, I want to be a head chef. I want to make it to the top, because this is amazing. And so I put everything into it. And, I would turn down auditions because I was working. And I was working in restaurants, and I couldn't get out of work because, if you work as a waiter, or behind a bar, you can generally get out of work to go for an
You
audition.
can swap out with somebody.
Yeah. But when you're in the kitchen, and especially I worked my way up to a head chef, and I was, even as a sous chef, which is the second in command, I can't just leave because I've got a team of people that I need to lead, and I have to write the menus and I have to do all this. So I couldn't just leave. So, I get auditions through, and I'd just be like, I can't make this. And that would piss my agents off, and that would really upset everyone. So probably for about the last 10 years, I'd say, I'd always thought to myself, I would love to direct something. However, no one's gonna, like, I'm just some kid from a small town in Liverpool. Like, directors to me are like, they're educated, and they've been to film school and all this kind of stuff. And I just sort of put it to the side and thought, I'll never be able to do that, but I'd love to do it. And I was always interested in everybody's job on set. Subconsciously, I was like, when I was acting and I was working as a on shows and films or whatever, I'd always be the guy who wanted to stay after my scene was done or whatever. I'd be like, can I just hang out and just be here? Like, I just want to be part of it, and I was always watching like what the lighting team were doing or the camera team. I'd always ask questions, probably being really annoying to people, but at the time I was so, and it goes back to that first trip to the Granada studios when I saw how it all worked, and I was just like, whoa, this is so cool. Magic. It's magic. So then, I'd sort of put my acting career not on hold, but I wasn't really getting the jobs, like I said, and I was working in the kitchens, and then I decided to stop drinking, and to go sober. So I went to see a counselor, and his name's Chip Summers. He's the most incredible guy. He helped me massively, and sort of my whole, because when you're working in kitchens or in that industry, it seems like everybody is, you work so hard, and then at the end of the shift, You've seen everybody else, all the customers having fun, and you know,
Mhm.
and then you're like, okay, now it's my turn. I deserve a drink now because I've just literally worked so hard
Yep.
for the last, 10, 11 hours, whatever, more sometimes. And, you know, that is a vicious cycle because then you start, you know, someone will say to you, like my head chefs or whatever, be like, should we have a quick drink to perk us up? Come on, let's have a drink, boom, 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 while we're working. And that leads on to other things.
Well,
And then,
and it's one of those jobs where, depending upon the restaurant you work for, it may be completely permitted. And,
oh,
and
yeah,
when you
yeah,
think of jobs that are high octane and pressure filled,
yeah,
people who aren't in the restaurant industry really wouldn't think cooking or working in a restaurant would be one of them on the face of it.
right.
But we all kind of in the background know that it is, or that it must be. Why do you think that is?
When you're on the path, or you're in the middle of service, it all relies on you as the head chef or the whole team, but you've got literally so much going on at once that your brain is just like completely, you know, it just, you've just got to be zoned in. And so I think to escape that that sort of pressure and the high intensity of it at the end of a shift, people drink, right? People just, let's escape this, or they go out, or they take drugs, or whatever. But not saying that everybody does this, but like there is a high percentage of chefs that do take drugs on shift and drink while they're on shift because that's their way of, you know, of handling the pressure.
So you worked your way up into, I think, being a head chef at multiple restaurants through the years. Do you think that working in the kitchen helped you? And this is an interesting parallel. I'm wondering if there's a parallel. Being a head chef, are there parallels between that and directing?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It's funny because I didn't realize that um until on being on Villain, my first feature. And it was, for me, coming up the ranks as a chef, I witnessed, you know, some horrible chefs who would throw things at their staff and, to get their attention. And it was like a military, um, operation. It was just, and it wasn't a nice place to work. And so I sort of looked upon that and thought, if I ever get to that level, I will never speak to my staff like that. Because the feeling that I was getting when I was being shouted at was like, I, I'm not going to do it. I'll do what you say, but I'm very reluctant to do it. And, I won't do any favors for you or whatever. So, when I became a head chef, I, you know, had the attitude of like, this is a team. We are collaborating together. And, I made sure that all my team had their own, even if it's a lower ranking chef, someone, who's just an apprentice or whatever, I would make sure that they would have something that they have developed or come up with themselves. You know what I mean? I give them an opportunity to go, okay, what are your ideas? Show me what you've got, and maybe we can put that on the menu, or or the pastry chef. I'd let them do their thing. I wouldn't control what they. But ultimately, I'm at the top of the chain, and I have to oversee everything.